My name is Robin Fowler. I'm a member of the 4th Corinthian Yacht Club, and I have been for many years now. I have been involved in various aspects of marine engineering through the club, through my career in general, and I'm quite happy to assist changing oil filters, fuel filters, etc., helping other members. On this particular engine, the owner has already changed a fuel filter. He's changed the primary fuel filter. So what we have to do now is to bleed the air out of that system in order to allow us to run the engine before changing the oil filter. Backing off the bleed screw on this fuel line, and I'm going to pump fuel through. Now you can see the surging of fuel at the bleed screw. Now that means there is fuel coming through, and I'm pumping it through with a lift pump. Now that it's through, I can tighten up the bleed screw again. Now that is fuel through to that, and there is no air in the fuel. Now you can see the surging of fuel coming out of that bleed screw, which meant there's no air. If there was air, you would see the air, you would hear it bubbling, but none of that happened there, so fuel is now up to that point. What we're going to do now on this Beta 10 marine engine is to do an oil and filter change. Now there's advantages to having the engine warm in the first instance before you do an oil change. This allows the oil to flow freely from the engine. Thick oil doesn't flow so well, warm oil does. So the engine has been warmed up, and that is a great advantage. So we can now remove the oil from the engine. Several ways of doing this. On this particular engine, it is convenient to have a tray beneath the sump, so we can remove the sump plug to drain the oil. That way we get the maximum oil out of the engine. There are various pumps and suction devices which can remove oil, but if you can get to the sump plug, that is the way to do it. Everything on the bottom of the sump then drains. I'm now undoing the sump plug. On this engine it's very accessible, and it should now be finger tight. Now I have to keep a hold of it because the tray may not be big enough to hold all the oil, so the plug will have to go back in. Oh, that's the oil coming out. The oil is now flowing freely from. Having removed the oil now from the crankcase, I have replaced the plug. The plug is a simple tapered plug. That means the threads are tapered. There is no shoulder for the plug to come up to and stop against. It is the taper generally only that makes the seal. Tightening it, therefore, you get the feel for when it's as tight as you want it. You can't over tighten it. You shouldn't be able to over tighten it. If you do, you've damaged the threads on the crankcase. The oil we're going to replace in this engine is a mineral oil. Today's oils for more modern engines, high-speed engines, engines that run warmer and hotter, etc., is generally a synthetic oil or a part synthetic oil. But for the engines like this, mineral oil is the answer. It was brought up on mineral oil, so we keep feeding it mineral oil. Now, just to show that the strap wrench goes on. It's a chain wrench. A chain wrench is used initially to slacken the filter. When it does slacken sufficiently, it's possible then to take it off by hand. Now, the filter will have oil in it, so we'll have to let that oil drain into the tray again. Shouldn't be that much. And then we can dispose of the filter, prepare everything to put the new filter back on, and then top up with fresh oil. Now that's the filter out. So we just let it drip now. There will be oil there. Okay. Replacing a new filter, oil filter, the seal on the end of the filter, which sits into a recess, needs to be oiled. You can also put a film of oil with your finger on the face that it fits onto. It is now right to fit the filter. It should screw on where the old one came off. Now the reason for putting the oil on there is to allow the seal to slide. If there were two dry faces together, the seal and the face that it goes onto, then what happens then is the seal stops turning, stays where it is, and part of it can easily be removed from the groove that it's in. When that happens, you do not have a seal then.
So we just, you figure it up and hand tight then?
I have put that on hand tight now.
And do you need to put the wrench on it?
No.
That's fine.
We don't need to tighten that by a wrench and everything. Now that's on hand tight. After the engine has been run and it's warmed up, on the first occasion, just check that that is tight again. And that's all that's required. So that's the engine now, drained of oil, fuel filter on, ready to be filled with fresh oil.